The clock ticked on, each second a reminder of my inertia. Time seemed to move forward, but I felt stuck, as if I was standing still while the world spun around me. My days blurred into a monotonous loop: wake up tired, drift through routines, and retreat to the glow of a screen. Every morning felt the same, and every night ended with the same sense of emptiness. It wasn't laziness. Anxiety weighed down every intention, making even simple tasks feel overwhelming. The pressure to do better only made it harder to start, trapping me in a cycle of frustration. I scrolled endlessly, comparing my stagnant life to others, deepening my self-doubt. Social media became a window into lives that seemed so much brighter, making my own struggles feel invisible. One morning, I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself. The spark in my eyes had faded, replaced by a quiet resignation I couldn't ignore. That quiet discontent finally became too loud to ignore. I realized I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine when I felt so lost inside. I realized motivation wouldn't just appear. I had to create it through action. Even the smallest effort could be a spark, a way to break the cycle and reclaim a sense of purpose. So I made a small promise: take one step, however tiny, in a new direction. It didn't have to be perfect, just different from yesterday. For the first time in ages, I felt a flicker of resolve. That single step was enough to remind me that change, no matter how slow, was possible. My first step wasn't dramatic or bold, and there was no grand gesture to mark the beginning. It was simply opening a blank notebook, the crisp pages waiting for my story to unfold. I started journaling, letting my thoughts spill out, just writing anything to break the silence in my mind and fill the emptiness on the page. At first it felt awkward and uncertain, but soon the words began to flow. My fears, my anxieties, my sense of being stuck all poured out in ink. Putting my thoughts on paper created distance from them, making them less overwhelming and easier to understand. The journal became a safe space for honesty and self-reflection, a private corner where I could be completely real with myself. Over time, I shifted from venting to gratitude, challenging myself to list 3 small things I appreciated each morning, no matter how tough the day ahead seemed. This simple act trained my mind to notice the good, even on hard days. And slowly, my perspective began to change. Journaling became my anchor. A daily promise kept, proof I could show up for myself, even when motivation was low. It was a quiet start, but it sparked real change, reminding me that small steps can lead to big transformations. Sometimes, transformation begins with the scratch of a pen and the courage to put your thoughts into words. With journaling as my foundation, I began to reconnect with myself in a way I hadn't in years. Putting my thoughts on paper helped me understand my emotions and set gentle intentions for each day. I turned to my body, realizing that caring for my physical self was just as important as tending to my mind. Intense workouts felt impossible at first, so I started small, committing to a daily 15-minute walk, no matter how I felt. At first, it was a struggle to get moving, but soon I noticed the world around me. The delicate flowers, the cheerful birds, the gentle breeze on my skin. Each walk became a small adventure. These mindful walks grounded me in the present moment and slowly lifted the mental fog that had settled over me. Gradually, I added more time, sometimes walking a little farther or a little faster, and I began to genuinely look forward to moving my body each day. Alongside movement, I made small, sustainable changes to my diet, like adding one healthy thing to my meals each day, maybe a handful of greens or a piece of fruit. It wasn't about restriction or guilt, but about nourishment, self-respect, and showing kindness to myself through my choices. The more I moved and ate well, the better I felt, physically, with more energy, and mentally, with a clearer mind and lighter spirit. My mood stabilized, anxiety quieted, and I learned that small daily choices, repeated over time, truly build lasting well-being. Balance was possible, one step and one meal at a time, and I realized that caring for myself was an ongoing, gentle journey. As my energy grew, so did my curiosity. I signed up for an online cooking class, my first real step outside my comfort zone. My early attempts were messy, but I kept going, learning and gaining confidence. Cooking became a creative, mindful escape and a symbol of progress. This courage spilled into other areas. I joined a community gardening project, despite my nerves. Meeting new people and learning new things was daunting, but rewarding. Each step outside my comfort zone expanded my world. The fear never vanished, but my courage grew stronger. I was no longer stuck. I was learning, trying, and growing. Life was expanding with every brave step. My transformation turned outward as I craved connection. I reached out to old friends, suggesting walks or coffee instead of just texting. Sharing my struggles brought empathy, not judgment, and reminded me I wasn't alone. Inspired, I joined a local walking group, finding belonging in simple, shared goals. These small social steps were healing, showing me connection doesn't have to be dramatic. Looking back, the change was remarkable. I was no longer isolated, but building a life of purpose and connection. Old habits still tried to return, but now I had tools and support. Growth isn't a destination, it's a daily practice of kindness and courage. Every small step forward creates a life of meaning and hope.